I live in Brooklyn, and I take the bus to and from work every day. Anyone who lives in New York knows that driving and finding parking in this city is an absolute nightmare. Plus, gas prices are so high that I would end up spending way too much of my weekly budget just on petrol. This is why I decided to invest in a better apartment with only one roommate rather than buying a car. I started working full-time only recently, so taking the bus is better because it actually saves me money. Since I go into work pretty early in the morning, the bus usually isn't too crowded. There's a couple of us who take the bus every day, so we have actually gotten to know each other pretty well. It's interesting to see how many different people take the bus as me. However, there is one woman who also takes the bus regularly with us, but she is completely insufferable. She is always running late and makes the bus wait for her. Plus, she always complains about everything on the bus and makes the ride uncomfortable for the rest of us. She is the only person who gets on the bus at her stop. The bus reaches her stop at 7 a.m., but we always end up leaving the stop at 7:15 because of her late arrival. Despite the fact that it is her own delay that causes her to be late to work every time, she keeps complaining the whole day that the bus is too slow. The stop at which she is supposed to get off is one of the last stops on our route, so she always gets upset when other people are getting off at the stops before her. She keeps telling everyone to hurry up, and if anyone tells her to calm down and stop her rude behavior, she gets even more upset and starts ranting even more. You must be wondering why the bus doesn't just leave her behind when she's late every day. That's because our bus driver had driven off without her twice because she was late, and she had called the MTA repeatedly to complain that the bus driver was leaving her behind on purpose. Our bus driver is a very sweet older man, and when his boss had told him to wait just an extra 5 to 10 minutes just to stop her phone calls, he hadn't complained. I get off at the same stop as this woman, so I end up having to sit through the whole bus ride with her, and it is so annoying. The other day, this older woman had gotten on the bus with us, and she was eating an egg sandwich while traveling. She was sitting opposite this woman when suddenly that woman started screaming at the old lady. She said that she couldn't stand the smell of her sandwich and that if she didn't stop eating it, she would throw it out the window. The old lady looked very shocked, and I felt very bad for her, so I decided to stand up for her. I told the woman that if the sandwich bothered her that much, then she should just switch seats instead of screaming at that lady. Instead of doing that, she just turned her anger onto me. She started telling me to mind my own business, and that I had no right to tell her to move seats. I didn't want to deal with her for too long, so I just invited the old lady to come sit with me and enjoy her sandwich in peace. The old lady kept thanking me, but the rude woman kept sending me dirty looks for the rest of the trip. Once, she also made a retired old man give up his window seat for her because she refused to sit on the aisle. At first, the old man had refused, but after she kept nagging him again and again, he ended up having to move. Similarly, one time she took up an extra seat just for a bag. That was a surprisingly busy morning on the bus, and a woman ended up having to stand because the woman refused to move her bag. Even after the other passengers, including me, told her to be more considerate, she didn't agree. So, it is safe to say that none of the regular passengers on the bus liked traveling with her at all. Anyway, last Monday, we were again waiting for her at the bus stop because she was late once again. This time, we actually ended up having to wait until 7:20 a.m. By that point, we were telling our bus driver to just drive away without her, but he didn't want the woman to call the MTA again, so he waited for an extra 5 minutes. When the woman finally arrived, she just started shouting at the bus driver to start driving because she couldn't afford to be late. This pissed me off. When one of the passengers is late, they always apologize when they get on the bus because they don't like wasting other people's time, but this woman had no such issue. She seemed to be in a bigger hurry than usual, which is why I suppose she was being even ruder than normal. When the bus stopped at the next stop, 2 passengers were getting off. She got mad because she thought they weren't being fast enough. She started pushing one of the passengers off the bus to hurry him even more. She always threw one of their bags off the bus when they were coming back to get it. We were all shocked at the rude way she was behaving. This was when she went up to the bus driver and told him that she wanted him to skip all the stops and go directly to our stop. She told him that she needed him to drive the bus as fast as possible as he could because she couldn't afford to be late. The bus driver was also shocked at her audacity. He told her that he would be fired if he diverted from the route and that she wasn't his only passenger. She wasn't happy to hear him say that, and she started yelling at him, saying that he was stupid for not listening to her and that she would make him regret it. I knew that it was dangerous for her to distract the bus driver while he was driving, especially because it was winter and the roads were slightly icy. So I went up to her and told her to sit down. She just turned her anger onto me and told me that I must be obsessed with her because I was always butting my nose into her business. I told her that I couldn't care less about her, but that she was being very selfish by only caring about her getting to work on time. The other passengers also agreed with me and told her that she needed to sit down before she caused an accident. She just ignored all of them and told me that because we get off at the same stop instead of stopping her, I should be helping her. I told her that I wasn't going to help her in her self-centered behavior. She just gave me a dirty look, but she finally sat down. However, that didn't last for too long because once we reached the next stop, she again started treating the people who were getting off badly in order to make them get off the bus faster. There were 6 more stops left before we reached our stop, and instead of helping the situation, that woman was actually delaying us more by creating such a commotion. When the bus started moving again, she once again went up to the bus driver and started demanding that he let her drive the bus. She told him that once she reached her stop, he couldn't start driving again. The bus driver had also had enough, so he told her that he was going to remove her from the bus at the next stop because he didn't want to deal with her anymore. She just got angrier and angrier and told him that she was ordering him to let her drive the bus. She said that her boss would fire her if she was late again. I was also getting annoyed, so I went up to her and told her that if she couldn't afford to be late, then she should be at her stop on time so that she didn't make the bus late. I asked her why she was late to the stop every day. If she had a valid reason, I might have even understood, but the reason she was late every single day was because she wasn't a morning person and that she didn't like getting up early. I told her that it was her own fault that she was in trouble with her boss, and the rest of us didn't deserve to have a terrible morning because of her own mistakes. She still refused to listen, and before I could stop her, she went up to the bus driver and tried to force him out of his seat. She tried to grab the steering wheel, and the bus lurched to one side. The whole situation was very scary. The bus driver was trying to keep the woman away from the steering wheel while she was trying to get him out of his seat so she could drive. The bus driver shouted at us to call the police. Fortunately, one of the guys who was sitting at the front of the bus grabbed the woman and forced her to get away from the bus driver. I called the police and told them what was happening, and the operator said the police would meet us at the next stop. The woman kept shouting, saying the driver should have just let her drive the bus, and none of this would have happened. I couldn't believe that she still wasn't ready to understand how badly she was behaving. When the bus driver pulled into the next bus stop, the police and the MTA were waiting for us. They got us all off the bus and questioned the bus driver on what had happened. But before he could say anything, the woman started screaming at the police, saying that it was all the driver's fault and that he was deliberately making her late for work. However, the rest of us told the police what had really happened and how that woman had put us all in danger by trying to hijack the bus from the driver. When the police heard what had really happened, they told the woman what she had done was illegal and that they had to take her to the police station because she would be charged with reckless endangerment. The MTA also told her that she was completely banned from all New York City buses because of what she had done. When she heard this, the woman tried to run away, but the police caught her very easily. They let the rest of us go. Even though we would all be late, we were much happier being able to travel without that crazy woman. I assume that the woman ended up losing her job, but I have no way to be sure because I haven't seen her since then. I have to say that my morning commutes are so much better without her, and I'm now always in a happy mood when I reach the office. If you've read my previous post, I usually have issues with the mother folks. This time, I will give you in all the glory the biggest fool I ever had to deal with in my business of owning a comic store and selling from flea markets. The year was 1995 or 1996. 2 kids, about 12 or 13, walked into my store and wanted to buy a pack of Upper Deck SPX basketball. For those of you that do not know, there was one card per pack and it was a hologram card except for some inserts. The kid paid $5 and he selected a pack and opened it. It didn't look like a regular card and we were confused about what it may be. I asked to see it and saw that it was an Anthony Hardaway rookie autograph redemption card. To get it, you had to mail this in the Upper Deck and they sent you an autograph card. The kid asked what the value of the card was, and I pulled out my Beckett's price guide and looked it up. No online sites then. According to the guide, it had a value of $500. Needless to say, this kid was jumping up and down with joy. His friend was excited too. Enter the idiot father. Idiot father saw his happy kid and looked annoyed. He asked what was going on. Kid told him he got a $500 card. I confirmed this, and he asked how much he paid for the pack. When the kid told him, he got mad that he wasted $5 on a goddamn pack of cards. I told the kid what had to be done to get the card, and the father was upset that he had to mail something. His reasoning was that they would know where he lived. I told him that this was normal, and it was just to send his son the card. Nope, not having it. I asked to him, tell you what, I'll mail it for you, and your address will not be known by Upper Deck. I'll give you a receipt, and I'll give you a call when it comes. Didn't want to do that because I'd have his number. I said, I don't want to hang out with you. All I want is for your son is for him to get his card. I then said that I'll give you the receipt for the card, and you can come back in and pick it up in about 30 days, as I would mail it out tomorrow. Nope, I would just tell him that I never got it, and sell it and rip him off. I said, how about I give you $100 for it right now, and you don't have to do anything? Nope, it was worth $500, and I was ripping him off. He then told the kid that he wasn't smart enough to buy anything because he was being robbed and was an idiot for not realizing it. I tried one last time. I showed him the expiration date, which was in about 2 months, and said that since he had no interest in mailing it or selling it, he would not be getting anything for it as it would become worthless after that date. Well, he dragged the kid out while insulting the kid and myself, leaving his friend behind to fend for himself. Several months go by, and I never heard if the kid got the card or not. One day, I decided to go to the supermarket in the strip mall I was located in and saw the kid with his mother. I asked him if he ever got the card, and he said no. His mother asked what card, and the kid said nothing. She asked again, and he muttered that he got a good card and his father wouldn't let him send it away for it. He told her what it was worth and that I offered to buy it, and she got pissed. A few seconds later, here comes the idiot father, and he sees me talking to them. She asked him about the card, and he started stammering that I was trying to rip them off and trying to get their address, and the whole thing was a scam. The look in her eyes could melt the polar caps. She said, I work 3 jobs, and you idiot sit on your butt all day, and you turn down an easy $100 because you're so effing paranoid that you refuse to believe anything? She asked her son what happened to the card, and the kid told her that the moron ripped it up and threw it out the window of the car. She turned to him and tells him he's walking home because she didn't want to be in the same car with him. Found out it was a 7-mile walk, and it was December. I don't know what happened after that, as the kid's friend told me that they moved soon after. Since I used to collect comics and non-sporting trading cards, this post rang the nostalgia button. A quick side note, I once met Martin O'Dell and his wife. Lovely people. I've heard of parents who threw their kids' entire comic collection out. I think this happened to the creator of Babylon 5, J. Michael Straczynski. I'll never understand that sort of behavior. Whatever was going on with the dad in this story, I'm so sorry that it had ramifications for his son. Let's be honest here. That dad might have had other issues too. And why didn't the kid tell the mom? Maybe he was worried his mom would agree with the dad. But if that was the case, why didn't the dad tell the mom? Because the dad knew he would get in trouble. This sounds like a stretch, but what if he saw that his son has a chance to earn $500 while he was earning nothing and got jealous?